Hey, this is Tammy with New Age Fitness. I posted a video a couple of days ago addressing how to maintain weight during the holidays, and I wanted to do a follow-up video about one of the things I discussed, and that's intermittent fasting. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail here because there's so much information out there and there's so many different ways to do this, but I want to at least get people acquainted with it who have never heard of it before. And I want to share the form of intermittent fasting that I do. Now, I want to give a disclaimer. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to eat. You should educate yourself, talk to your doctor, do what you have to do to feel safe about doing it. I'm just sharing the information I've gathered and applied to my own way of eating, that my clients have applied to their way of eating, and we've had a lot of success with it. In fact, intermittent fasting is literally the first thing I found in my entire life that helps me maintain my weight effortlessly. So basically, fasting is something we naturally do anyway. Anytime we go to sleep, we're not eating. Most of us are not eating. When you wake up and eat for the first time, that's obviously called breakfast. We think of breakfast as happening at like 8 a.m., but it can actually happen at 11 a.m., 12 p.m. It's when you break your fast for the first time. So whenever that is, when you first break your fast, here's a little idea of what chemically happens in your body. So while you sleep, you produce something called human growth hormones, which a lot of people are going to be familiar with. It can help encourage muscle growth, which we want for strong metabolism, shapely body, all that, and just be able to do daily life functions. And it also encourages fat burning. Our metabolism's at its highest when we have a lot of human growth hormone production in our system. And side note, the better night's sleep you get, the more you're going to produce, amongst other things. So the first time you eat, the human growth hormone is shut off for the day, and you start to produce insulin. So insulin is kind of the antithesis to human growth hormones in that it increases your body's fat burning ability. Your body starts trying to hold on to fat. A lot of people say that they like me because I use layman's terms, but honestly the reason I do that is because I can't remember big technical names or big scientific explanations, so I guess that works out well. But my point is, I'm not even going to claim to understand the exact reason why insulin encourages fat storage, but I know it does, and if you'll do research, you'll see I'm right. So as soon as we cut off that human growth hormone, we're basically, you have to look at it like we're in a different mode all day. Now, for some people, not a big deal. For people who struggle with their weight, it can be a huge deal because we destabilize our blood sugar and we're just like a hot mess for the rest of the day. We're tired, we're hungry. I always talk about breaking the seal. Once I break the seal, it's on. I'm gonna eat all day, I'm gonna be starving, and I'm gonna feel stuffed, I'm gonna wanna take a nap, and it's just a vicious cycle. So with intermittent fasting, you're prolonging that window. In fact, sometimes I'll deliberately prolong it if I know that I've got a lot I need to do that morning, I need to be energetic, and my mind needs to be sharp. I'll deliberately wait until later in the day to eat because I know that's when I'm at my best. And the more I practice intermittent fasting, the more I find that once I do break my fast, it's not that roller coaster ride, that I don't have as many cravings, because what happens over the long haul is intermittent fasting can actually help stabilize your blood sugar, which is another controversial thing. We've heard for so long, and I practiced this for a long time, that eat small, frequent meals, like never let your stomach empty out. Well, what happens is you basically have a drip of insulin in your body all day long. It's basically like if you went to someone and said, what can I do to make sure my body's storing fat all day? It would be, eat some simple carbs every once in a while, keep that insulin dripping, and that's the best way to store fat. So when you've got that smaller window of time to eat, even before you start to stabilize and regulate to it, you literally have less time to eat. So you're eating the same amount of calories or less most of the time. And in fact, they've done studies that show that even if the people that are eating in that window tend to not consume, every once in a while they do, but most people tend to not consume more calories in that period of time. But the best part of it is you've got this big window of time with no insulin present. And even when you take away the fat burning part of this and just look health-wise, our bodies are not meant to process food all the time. If you look back to our hunter-gatherer ancestors, they didn't get up at 6 a.m. and go to Starbucks and get a latte and a muffin, and they weren't eating popcorn and pretzels at 11 o'clock at night. They generally rose with the sun, hit the ground running, ran from predators, gathered food, fruits and vegetables, and gathered as the sun set and ate together, ate whatever they found. So don't even get me started on our sedentary lifestyles and how we acquire food now. That's a different video. But that's just something to keep in mind, that, we've been told all these things about how we should eat, yet as a society, we're more obese than we've ever been. So we need to reevaluate it and think for ourselves and question with these scientific studies, is it causation versus correlation? Is this study accurately reflecting, what we believe it is? Is this study, if somebody is eating breakfast at 6 a.m., are they maintaining their weight because they ate breakfast at 6 a.m.? Are they maintaining their weight because they heard that eating breakfast helps them maintain their weight? And these are the same people who also heard that exercising, getting night's sleep, water, all that also helps maintain their weight. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, I encourage you to do your own research. Don't take my word for it. This is something, it can be very individual too. I know some people that do better with fasting for an entire day and then eating for 2 days regular. It's all what works for you. But you can be your own best guinea pig. Just don't ever approach things from extreme, and let your energy level and just your overall feeling, do you feel well, do you feel sick, do you feel tired, let that be your gauge of where you should go. So my next video that I'm going to talk about in a few days, I want to start to address a paleo style of eating, which there's a lot of controversy with this too, but again, I'm just putting out my personal experience. But check out the blog post below, and it'll explain a little bit more how intermittent fasting works, and then just try it for yourself. Thanks.